now we're ready. Are we on? Yay. All right, we can stand for the pledge of allegiance. It's fine. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to do recognition visitors. Nobody signed in, so we'll just jump right into Pride Card winners.
Good evening. Our first Pride Card winner is AJ Goodyear, who is a kindergartner in Mrs. Shondrick's room. Mrs. Shondrick wrote, "Thank you for being such a caring and sweet boy. You are so eager to help out and show your friends acts of kindness. Keep up the great work, AJ." Our next student is a first grader, Molly Wiles, and this is from Mr. DeVeest. Molly is such a joy to have in class. She is very attentive and is a great role model for other students. I can always count on Molly to give her best effort no matter what the activity. So where do you go, Molly? I don't see Molly here. I do see our next Pride Card winner, Helen Willis, in second grade. Come on up here, Helen. Helen is in Miss Porosky's second grade classroom. Miss Porosky wrote, "I am so proud of Helen. She follows the rules in the classroom, in the hallways, and at specials. She is also a very helpful student to her classmates and to me. Keep up the good work, Helen." Good job, Helen. That's all right.
I don't blame her.
Yeah. Mr. Fletcher.
Yeah.
Our next student is Kaitlyn Corbin, and Kaitlyn is a third grader. Kaitlyn is a wonderful girl who is always first to volunteer for any job. She's a hard worker and super listener. Way to show the Viking way. Thank you, Kaitlyn. And that was from Mrs. Bain. In fourth grade, we had Gage Hawley in Mrs. Pusatari's class. Mrs. Pusatari wrote, "Gage finished his work early and volunteered to help other classmates who were struggling with improper fraction. Gage was kind and helpful to others. That is the Viking way." So good job, Gage. And then finally in fifth grade, Elena Midcap, and this is from Mr. Hamilton. "Performs great as a fifth grader, leads by example, enjoys learning, always happy, smiles at my jokes," which is easy to do, "uses her time wisely, respects her peers, and enjoys school. Great work, young lady." And that's from Mr. Hamilton. So that rounds out our elementary students. So I'll have Mr. Walker. Your first one's copied.
Our sixth grade Pride Card winner is Savannah Murphy. She's not here this evening. Mr. Bowman wrote about Savannah that she works extremely hard as a student, and she always sets a great example for her peers. One of Savannah's greatest qualities is she always has a smile on her face every day, and she is ready to make the most of the opportunity that day will provide. So congratulations to Savannah. From seventh grade is Madison Copen. Mrs. Barkhurst writes about Madison that she has had an excellent attitude since she moved to Waterloo. She did just come to us recently here. She's done a great job she has done a great job on breaking barriers essay that she wants to submit for a contest. Madison even volunteered to help a student who is struggling to complete this assignment. She is always so sweet. And finally, Brooke Waldeck from 8th grade, and actually I wrote this for her. When the teacher was running late, Brooke took charge by standing at the front of the class and leading her peers through their homework problems. She also answered questions and coordinated other students helping each other. I saw that because I was in the room when it happened and the teacher was running late, and Brooke just stood up and took over. So congratulations to those three. And here's Mrs. Sandell with the high school students.
Ninth grade, we have Sierra Cunningham. Mrs. Dean wrote, "I'm so proud of you, paying attention and then being able to help a classmate." That was nice. 10th grade, we have Cade Hawley. Again from Mrs. Dean, "Thank you for cleaning up my room without being asked." That seems to be a really great gesture for a lot of our teachers. John Holcomb in the 11th grade, this is from Mrs. Wise. "Thank you for all your help. You always do the little things that others overlook, and it is greatly appreciated." And then in the 12th grade, Mrs. Kane wrote to Jaylee Clusty. "Jaylee is always willing to help make the yearbook class run smooth. She offers suggestions and takes initiative with her classmates, and she gets along with everyone. She is very kind." And I also want to recognize a graduate that we have here this evening. How could I let it go? Laura Hood is here with us. She is observing as part of her teaching education. Welcome.
We're gonna start our regular meeting. If you do not want to stay during the rest of it, you guys can go ahead and step out. But thanks for coming.
Good job, Helen.
She's ready to go. Look at her, she's running.
She even dressed for the occasion.
know.
This is nice.
She's not looking back either.
See you guys, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Can you get a roll call?
Terry? Here. Brock?
Here.
Fletcher?
Here.
Whittlesey?
Here.
Gum.
Here.
And recommend that the Waterloo Board of Education adopt the April 13, 2017 regular meeting. Your motions?
So move.
Second.
Second.
And roll call. You're late, Brian.
What's that?
You were late.
Was I? I'm sorry. I didn't hear. Did you? I'm sorry.
Fletcher?
Yes.
Whittlesey?
Yes.
Gum.
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes. And I have just the levy, but I'm gonna wait till you say what you have.
Okay.
But I do want to put out on the Saturday is the Easter egg hunt that the Lions Club's putting on. What time is that?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the girls had a shutout game today, so they won theirs and the boys did not. That's all I have.
Easter egg hunt is, to answer your question too, it's on the elementary, middle school side of the fields.
Oh, so they moved over there.
Yes,
Okay.
okay. And, hopefully it won't rain. If it were to rain, they're gonna make some plans to move it inside, but they're.
I mean, I think it's supposed to be in the evening
Okay.
through Sunday,
So,
I think. I'm no
they've
weatherman.
got a lot of nice things planned, so they've been working very hard on it. Let's hope it's a nice day.
And then we'll move into the superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you very much for that. As you mentioned, Vicki, we've been working very hard on our levy campaign, and that'll be on May 2nd. We're looking at 8.25 mils, which equates to $24.06 per month with profit with a tax value of $100,000. We've had a lot of people stepping up and trying to help promote the levy to reach out to everybody in the community to find the SOs. So we still have a ways to go. We have a lot of things planned. We not only have the Easter egg hunt to promote the levy, we also are using the art auction. I believe it is on the 27th, I want to say. Big night on 4/20, April 20th, 7 o'clock. We're planning on doing it here. I'm hoping that we have like 200 people show up and we'll have to move the gymnasium. Would that be cool? But we're having a Q&A evening where Todd and I will present our finances, present where we are. A lot of the same information that we've done the last couple get-togethers. We give the opportunity for anybody who is unsure of where they are. Hopefully there are a lot of people that are on the fence and not sure whether to vote yes or no. That'd be a great evening to come in, ask some questions, find some things out, and hopefully we can talk them into leaning more towards the yes than the no. But that'll be a big evening on 4/20. I mentioned 427 is the art auction that we're having. We're also going to use that to promote the levy. We have the big Easter egg hunt Saturday, this coming Saturday. Can't believe it's Easter already. On the 29th, we'll be doing a live trying to call all people that we've identified as yes voters, and just to remind people to vote. And we've also done a few other things that we branched out into. The other night we had an all call using some of the students volunteered to talk about why it was important to them that we pass this levy. It was really kind of a neat thing.
Have you got any community feedback on that?
Been very positive, and we're going to do it. We've got a few more times planned to put it out there. It's always going to be at 7 o'clock in the evening, right? Thereabouts.
And a couple of Saturdays.
Okay. I think it's a very nice thing. We've done, these things that we've done, we try to branch and doing different things to promote the levy, just to get word out there. So we're hopeful. I'm not naive, but we're very hopeful that we're doing the right things and doing as much as we can. We keep asking ourselves, what more can we be doing? Let's keep doing it, keep being very positive, and I think we've done that. So that's the first thing about the levy. Two other things I want to talk about very quickly. Tom Getz, talked to him today. He's been an employee at Waterloo Local Schools for 37 years. He's been here. He turned in, as part of the addendum, he turned in his resignation. He's going to be retiring after 37 years. And when I talked to him this morning, he was very emotional to do that. We talked for a long time. But Tom has worked here as a custodian, as a bus driver, transportation supervisor, and ending his career here as a facilities manager, maintenance manager. Everyone knows Tom, and Tom seems to know everyone. And certainly this place will not be the same without him. We wish him the best in his retirement as he spends time with his wife, Cheryl, and their family. So we just want to say thank you, Tom, for 37 years of service. He's a very, very nice man, very gentle guy, and he certainly is deserving of a peaceful retirement. So we're very happy for him. Last thing, very quickly, there was a notice that was put out. Just want to clarify something here. St. Joe was, promoting their school, which is certainly we're glad they do that. They end up having quite a few students who leave St. Joe eventually and move on, promoted to go to Waterloo. For the most part, a lot of them end up coming here. They put something out talking, and we're very happy to see that they take the national Iowa tests, and they've done pretty well on that the last few years. They've done well on that. They're just comparing their scores with the Iowa test to how we've done with the air test and how Rootstown has done on the air test, and I think they looked at Lake local schools. I just want to clarify something. The air test has been an extremely difficult test, and we're not really comparing apples to apples here. So I want to clarify that. All the scores throughout the state of Ohio for the public schools with that test have been very low, and we talked about that before with our report cards. The report cards throughout the state have been very low, and people have been very disappointed, not only in the report cards throughout Ohio, but also with the process of taking the air test, and we've talked about that before. So this year's tests seem to be a little less rigorous. However, they are not, it's not like taking an Iowa test. I would love to be able to have our kids take the Iowa test and just call it a day and move on. We certainly would look much better, but I just want to clarify that when we're comparing our school to other schools, that when we talk about, apples to apples and oranges to oranges, and that's not really been the case. Just to clarify, that's not anything to be disrespectful to St. Joe's. I want a level playing field, for our kids, whether it be in academics or athletics or what have you. And when I say it's not happening, I feel like I need to mention that. So that's what I'm doing here tonight. All right, and I believe that's it for me. Thank you.
Treasurer's report.
Just to mention, to add on to the consent agenda under superintendent's business, item I, for the resignation of Tom Getz, Mr. Raymond just spoke about.
The high school updates.
quick, but I have a little bit of a list here.
the end
Good
of the
evening.
year.
To reiterate what Mr. Brayman was talking about, our testing has started. Our first week went relatively smoothly. We had a few glitches here or there because we, of course, switched to our online process. So that just sometimes takes a few things to figure out, little pop-up blockers and different things that happen. So we figured all that out, and everyone's moved in the right direction. A levy update. We have really ramped up our communications, so I hope you're getting our daily communication with through the district. We're putting it on social media. Those come directly from people on the communications committee, so it's kind of nice to kind of assign everybody a date, and they're sending me their little blurb that they want put out there. And then I had today I had 2 other teachers that weren't on the committee but said, here's how I feel about this, and they gave me, something about their experiences here. So that was really nice. So we're putting those out. Actually, last night when the all-call went out, Mr. Brayman was the first one to text me and say, oh my gosh, that was so cool. And then I told him my phone was just blowing up. So people were just, we had really positive response to hearing the kids, and I loved doing it. The little ones are the best. So you'll get a few more of those between now and May 2nd. We're doing the postcards, so we're sending those out, and hopefully we'll hand those out at our different events as well. Mr. Brayman also asked us to talk just a little bit about the impact of not passing the levy that it would have on our individual buildings, and obviously overall in the district. So for us in the high school specifically, our caseloads in our special ed classrooms would increase quite a bit, so each teacher's caseload would increase. Obviously there are limits on that, but that becomes very tricky to manage those caseloads and keep within the state requirements. Our changes in our schedule, changes in our elective options, and that's always tough when we don't have numerous electives to offer our students, because we all know that it's not just about those core academics, that we have to offer kids those balancing electives to make them well-rounded. And so when we start losing those, that becomes an issue. We're looking at a loss of some of our College Credit Plus classes, because the teachers that teach those higher level classes will have to compensate and teach the state required classes that we have. So our 9th and 10th grade physical sciences, those kinds of things, those have to be covered and have to be offered. The College Credit Plus classes don't have to be offered, and so we start looking at how we have to change our schedule in order to accommodate for the loss of staff. So it does have quite a big impact on us, so I just wanted to share those with you. Hopefully changing gears, we have some celebrations. Our band has reached state competition, so they will be competing at OMEA competition on Friday the 27th, I believe is the date. Sorry, I didn't write that down. They haven't been to state competition in 13 years, so this is a great accomplishment for us. We're very excited. They play at North Royalton High School at 5:45 that evening, so hopefully they'll bring back a great score. Our students went on a trip to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which was fun. They were able to, the students paid a small amount, and that was able to cover our busing, because the trip, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame offered entrance for free. So that was really nice that they were able to do that. I believe Mr. Brayman got to attend.
Loved it.
Had a good time doing that.
Scorpions were there. As a side note.
Yeah, side note. Our ACT testing went very well. That was the first time we did that. Hopefully we'll get those scores back. I know people are a little anxious about those scores, but we have to remember that every district in the state of Ohio that chose the ACT tested that day. So it's probably going to take a little bit longer for those scores to come back, but we will get them. We've been told we'll get them before the end of the school year for the students. So that went very well. Our dodgeball tournament was a great success. Of course, the teachers won, so that was fun. Again, my phone blew up that night with all those events happening that evening. Everyone was just raving about it the next day, about how much fun they had. This year we're having an honors dinner. I know I've talked to you about that. We did set the date for Wednesday, May 17th. I would like to invite each of you to attend that. We will be honoring our students that are 3.5 and above, which end up being 20 students this year, which I'm really, really proud of. And then we will honor some teachers that evening as well, so we would love for you to be here. Again, Wednesday, May 17th, that starts at 6 p.m. The next night, this year I've been doing a Viking of the Month, so there's been 4 of them every month, which has equated to about 28 students this year that we've honored. The next night we're going to do a dessert reception for our Vikings of the Month, so we're going to invite them in just to recognize the things that they shared with us about them and to offer some things to their parents as well. So one night or the other, if you could join us, that would be fantastic. I just wanted to share, this was part of our admin meeting this week, in lieu of the things that happened in San Bernardino with safety and our buildings. We have reminded all of our staff once again to just be vigilant. Obviously, there's no way they could have predicted what happened in that elementary school, but just to make sure that we are being very specific about who gets let in the building and how we go about that process to make sure that we do everything we possibly can to keep our students safe. I wanted you to also know that any type of threats to any of our students or our staff are investigated fully to every extent that we can. So I wanted to just to kind of reiterate our safety policies and how we go about doing all of those things. The drug prevention that we started, with the community meeting and then the staff professional development, we are trying to culminate that in a student activity as well. We're meeting with Scott Carabulad next week. He's a resident in the area. He has a company called Ride for Life, so it's kind of like a stunt bike show at the same time that he talks about his struggles with drugs and alcohol. His dad was a very, very famous to Mr. Brayman. I mentioned the name and it was like I was talking about a rock star. His dad was a coach at Hoban for many, many years. And when Scott was 17, he lost his dad. So he talks about all of the things that he's dealt with, and he's done tons of presentations. And so we're meeting with him to see if we can make that all come together next week. And then my last thing, sorry, I'm hurrying, I promise. Prom is Saturday, May 6th. It's being held at Spring Lake Party Center. And yes, I had to look that up because I thought it was Springfield Lake, and no, I was corrected. It is Spring Lake Party Center out in Springfield. So that's at 7 p.m. Saturday, May 6th. I think that's all I have. Anyone else? Anyone have any questions? Of course, commencement is right around the corner. We've already started fitting people with robes and all that kind of stuff. So it's coming to an end very quickly.
This year went by crazy.
Yes, crazy fast, and we're in that mode right now too. So thank you.
Well, good evening. I just have a few things to talk about quickly. Number one, like Mrs. Sandell said, our state testing went very well. It was run very smoothly, and I think I talked last month about it being a team effort, and really you saw all those things of the team, different people taking small parts of the overall task and making it work very well. And I'm just proud of our teachers and our students who really worked hard and worked as teammates really to get that job done. We will have a couple weeks off here until our next round of testing starts again, and that all starts up in the first week of May. Our staff versus students basketball game was a great hit. We did that this year. The staff won. We had female staff members playing female students, and then the second quarter was male staff playing male students, and we went back and forth. The kids had a great time. The crowd was really into it, and it was a lot of fun. Our 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. was another success this year, and I'm thankful for Dr. Brayman going this year on the trip. I think he had a great time other than catching a little bit of a cold, I think. But he said the kids were great, the people were great. I wanted to talk about, Dr. Brayman asked to talk to you about what might happen or how the failed levy, if it were to fail, what that would do to our individual building. And so from a middle school perspective, like Mrs. Sandell said, we would be looking at a decreased ability for our teachers to really individualize with our students. through the loss of an intervention specialist. Certainly, we would have all of our IEP, all of that would still be covered, but it wouldn't be the same, really. And then classroom teachers would have to do more work with general ed kids or doing more things with special ed kids, so that would be an issue. As well as just decreased programs with students, again, speaking to our specials classes. Our elective courses would suffer for that, and that's just a detriment to the students of this district. And also the middle school block schedule, we would have to look at changing that up, eliminating that extra time that teachers have to do co-planning with each other, because there would just be more classes that would need to be covered. An analogy would be similar to losing a police officer from a police force or a player on a team. Can you get by without that person? Yeah, but you're losing the skill and the expertise and the camaraderie and just that extra magic that happens when you have the right people in place. Finally, I just wanted to point out there are 2 signs here I put in front of the table this evening. That's because those are the last 2 signs we have available.
What?
We've worked really hard to get all of the signs that we have in the district out to the district and displayed. Several people have gone to businesses and sludged through the mud to get these things in place along the roads, and you should see that as you're driving around. We really appreciate the support of several local businesses who have taken on to show their support and display the sign. So if you need a sign, there's 2 left.
I'm claiming that one.
You're taking that. Very good. All right. Thank you, guys.
I have no questions, but he was referring to you as Dr. Brayman, as I know you were going through all that, but
All
last
done.
you told me.
Yeah, all done.
Oh, well,
Thank goodness.
geez, congratulations.
Thank you.
What
Been
a
long
secret.
time. No more classes, that's it.
I was afraid to ask because you never said anything else about
Yeah.
it.
That's right. Finished at Christmas time.
I knew you were done and you said you submitted and then that was,
That's it.
you didn't
Been
say
published,
anything.
whole 9 yards.
All right.
Yeah, it's all good.
Doctor's been operating since Christmas.
You know.
I know, right?
You throw it in there every once in a while.
Yeah.
I just thought Mr. Walker kept saying Dr. Brayman,
Sounds
Dr.
like he was
Brayman.
teasing though a little bit. It's all right, it's all good.
We're all just jealous.
Yeah.
Good evening. I'm gonna be brief here. I had a test update too, but we've all covered that pretty well. I'd just like to thank the teachers for their flexibility. I made the schedule for testing, and it looks good on paper, but with some technical glitches, like Mrs. Sandell said, it pushed schedules around. We had to think on the fly there for a few days, and the teachers did a great job of being flexible with that, with the moving around of lunches and recess and specials, so big thank you to them. So I'm going to jump right into the levy impact for the elementary. I feel that not passing this levy will have a huge impact on the quality of education in the elementary school. It's something that, the quality of education in the elementary is something I've been very proud of since I've been here, and I think we have a great staff, and we offer a really strong education for our students. The class sizes are excellent. We just had some IAT meetings. That's some of the programming that we're not going to lose it, like Mr. Walker was alluding to, but the quality, I think, just goes down. Our teachers do a great job of collecting data on students and progress monitoring students, and that just becomes more challenging when you take a teacher out of the mix. You're taking that teacher's students and then spreading them out among what's left. So class sizes will go up. We're losing some really positive, good people, and that is going to affect the morale of not only staff but our students, because we're losing some student favorites. And as I said, with services, that IAT that I mentioned, also our intervention specialists, we're going down significantly in that department, which means, like Mrs. Sandell, I think, alluded to, with state minimum, state maximum, there is that threshold, but I look at the work a person like Pam Merck does. She stays here till all hours of the night, and she has 1 grade right now. That's probably subject to change for next year, and you think about the quality she's providing kids right now, and I'm sure she's gonna try her best, but she's gonna be spread thin. So it really comes down to quality for us. So that's why I'm very hopeful that we can pass this and keep a really good thing going at the lower level and then continuing on to the middle and high school. So, and I have to mention Mrs. Green since she's here now. Thought I'd forget. I want to thank a lot of the teachers, coming towards the end of the year, Mrs. Green, Mrs. Alderson, they do a lot to help with scheduling. Mrs. Green and I, she's probably been spending more time with me than she'd like to, but anything from staffing and planning for next year. This is a lot of work on our teaching staff. I've been asking Mrs. Alderson about schedules for next year because that'll have to change with how our staff will change. So it's extra work on them, and I've been very appreciative of all their support and help with this through this process. So we're hopeful that it'll pass and we can keep what we have going, because I think the kids in Waterloo's district are getting a really strong education. I wouldn't like to see any of that lost. So, if you guys don't have any questions, that's it for me.
Thank you. Maplewood update?
Yes, I got to have the opportunity to go to Denver a couple weeks ago to the National School Board Conference, and that sure was interesting. We got to listen to a lot of really cool speakers, and the one that I really liked the best was Scott Kelly. He was an astronaut, and he talked probably 2 hours about his life and how long he was in space and all that, and he has a book that's ready to be entering out here. I brought you this in case you wanted to look at this. It's not ready yet, the book, but you can pre-order one. A couple things in the trade show I thought were interesting as well. I just brought one pamphlet about the styro green, the recycling. I thought that was kind of cool, how the students put all their trash in different receptacles, and then overnight it turns into the compost, and it was really cool. I had to talk to this gentleman for about a half an hour, so I had to listen to the whole spiel. But it was cool. It was really cool how they do that in different school districts. A lot about what you guys are talking about with the school levy passing. It's just amazing to see how some of these schools, like the fine arts programs for one, they bring out different students from different states, and the instruments and things that they do for us, on stage, it's just unreal, to be able to witness something like that. So, the other thing I wanted to make mention is graduation is May 24th, Wednesday, at the Mack Center at Kent State. And that's all I really have.
What time do you have?
I believe 7.
May 24th.
You can pass that down. Do you? Yeah. The following week then? Yeah. Okay, maybe I wrote that wrong. I'll double check. I'll double check, because I have it. At 7? At 7. Okay, let me double check that and I'll let you know for sure. Okay. Yeah, that would be nice. I'll double check it. I will, I'll text you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Legislative?
No, I don't have anything yet.
Have we heard anything on the state budget? Has anything come about on the?
Oh, the initial budget's been out, and we've heard nothing to any revisions or anything like that to date. We're still slated to lose roughly $280,000 a year.
Yeah, that's a big. Even for the levy there.
And that
that's
reduction
another.
was not factored into the millage requested.
New business. Anybody? Ken? Adam? Brian? And then we'll just make motions to go into the consent agenda, items 14A through I, to include the addendum. I'll make motion.
I'll make a motion.
Or you mean you'll second it?
Oh, I'll second it.
Okay. Man, you guys are on it today. Roll call?
Brock,
Yes.
Fletcher,
Yes.
Whittlesey,
Yes.
Gall,
Yes.
Pusateri.
Yes.
And superintendent's business.
Very quick on the form on G and H, some people might ask why you're having,
Yes.
recommend teachers be hired and then recommend that they be reduced. We have to follow the contract, there's 4 changes been made with the OTES, allows, evaluation to be done all the way going towards the very end of the school year. However, we still have to follow the contract, so instead of, hiring everyone, what we do is, what we've done to be able to reduce our teachers that we're reducing, we have to officially have them hired, and then the same, in the next agenda item, we would, place them on the reduction forces. So they have to be officially hired before they're reduced in force, okay? So that's why we have, some people might look at that and be like, why are you hiring? And unfortunately, we have that, doesn't make me happy to even have that list to begin with, but we have to follow the contract still, which is what we're doing, but also following the, state guidelines as well. Other than that, that's all I have.
Just kind of dovetailing off of that, what you said about the reductions in force is that some of us remember, 5-6 years ago, we were going through a similar issue with the levy, and we eventually passed it to get us to the point we are today. But at that time, we lost I want to say 4 or 5 really good young teachers because they were in a situation where they were next on the list to be reduced if we had to go that route and things like that. And so the district lost some really quality teachers that have gone on to be principals and some really good, some excellent people. So that's another kind of intangible of the levy situation and lack of funds. Is, if you're a young person starting out and you just have a family, and you have a little one or 2 little ones, and and you're looking like, hey, if we have to cut it any deeper, I'm the next person. We start looking, and that's really has a big impact on the district, and just the people. Some of the people that left had actually graduated from Waterloo, and it's like, unfortunately, I have to go somewhere else because I have to make sure I have a job, and that's really one of the real tragedies of the place. And we had Mr. Getz retire after 37 years with the district, and we have Mr. Schmidt retiring after 33 years with the district. There's a lot of teachers here that come here because it's a great place, it's great students, great community, and they're not coming here, they're not working here because they're making super money. I mean, they could go 15 minutes into Akron and make significantly more, or even a little bit south and make significantly more, or a little bit north and make significantly more. They're here because they want to be here. And
They're dedicated to
they're
their
dedicated,
position
so-
of what they're doing.
So it's really is. Hopefully we can get this levy passed in May and move forward and put everybody's mind to rest.
You're right, Brian. And the list of people who are on the list, I don't want to keep hammering this, but I will say this, these are all very talented educators, very good people. It's been one of the most, probably not one of, it's been the most difficult thing I've had to go through, working through this with them and putting them on that list. It's been very difficult because they offer a lot for our students. And the hope would be that these people on that list would be here for 30, 35 years, and unfortunately that's been put in danger. So it's an unfortunate thing, but we're gonna, it's part of the reason why, hey, we're working hard for this levy, not just to save their jobs. We think it's what's best for our kids to have these people around our students. So we're pretty committed to that, and we'll see how it goes. Oh, and one thing, and Brian, you mentioned this, and I wanted to repeat that. I think I was just kind of in shock still that Tom Getz had turned in his paperwork today. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Mr. Schmidt, a counselor for 33 years, been in the school district for a long time. And much like Tom, Cliff is a very gentle man, very, very good person. He worked very hard as a counselor, and he certainly will be missed. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention his name and thank him for his service of 33 years.
I'm sorry to keep jumping in, but in Cliff, when I went to this school, counselors at the high school. We had two counselors at the high school, a counselor at the middle school, and a counselor at the primary school. Today, we have 2 counselors total, one at the high school and one at his middle school, elementary school. I mean, I mean, again, that's just more of the things that you
In
have to-
33 years, it's hard to bring somebody in and pick up a already leveled routine that the school has. So it's,
'cause
Not
I-
to mention added testing,
Added
ATT, to add that amount of scheduling and work and all of those
Mhm.
things to a person who's already, that's difficult, it's a lot.
I can talk about this for a long time, that's the thing, I mean, we're doing more with less, so instead of having 3 counselors, we have 2. Not only that, but we're adding more responsibilities, and it's not just counselors, it's more on our teachers, it's more on the administrators, it's more on our janitorial staff, and it's tough, and I want people, in this community to understand that, you know, we are doing more with less, and we're still maintaining our program, we're still offering a quality education for our students, I do feel good about that. But we are asking more and more, and now we're in danger of putting even more pressure on the remaining teachers with the reduction of this particular, this is a big list, this is a lot, you know, it's a lot of people. And that's gonna put a lot of pressure on our, and I have no doubt that they'll get it done because they are passionate about what they do and they care about our students. But again, we're putting more pressure, and that does affect what we're trying to do for our kids, and I want everybody to understand that.
And just to dovetail off of that, if we don't eventually pass the levy, the state comes in under fiscal emergency, right, Todd?
Well,
And-
there's, fiscal caution, fiscal watch, fiscal
Yeah.
emergency.
And eventually, what they say is they come in and they basically come in, and at some point, they're gonna say, we're gonna cut. Well, they look at our district, and there's just not much left to cut. And then they say, okay, we're gonna put a levy on, and we're gonna put that levy, and then they're just gonna keep putting it on until it passes. That's what history has proven. Some local districts that had to go through that years ago were kind of in a good situation in the fact that when the state came in and they started looking, it's like, oh, these people, this one particular district I know was like 35 staff members over state minimum, so they could make a huge impact when they cut, and that made things a little more palatable to absorb when that community eventually passed the levy. We don't have that luxury. I mean, you look at, with this cut we have now, we're really down to the bare bones. So, I mean, I don't know of how we could, I mean, this is as low of a millage levy that we can possibly
just hopefully
put
can get
together.
people out April 20th. And just hope.
Okay, thank you.
Treasurer's business? No? No? Roll call?
We already, did we have that?
Yeah, we will call.
Oh, we did do it? Well, then have a motions to go in executive.
Item 15.
Oh. Oh, on the, how do I bring that in, just,
It's just for a separate vote outside the consent agenda.
so we just need to, okay. Huh?
That's all I got.
So just take a vote on 15? Can I get a vote, a motion?
We need
or-
a motion, yeah.
A
we need
motion to accept the addendum 15?
Just motion to approve the following volunteer athletic coaches is listed.
Oh,
So moved.
Second.
Just as a comment, the reason we pulled those out is because
yes, why did we pull
one of
these
those
out?
people, if you look at the last name of one of those people, I'll be abstaining because,
Got it.
and if we left it in the big agenda, then I would have had to abstain from that whole agenda. And so we pulled it out as a separate item. That's the reason.
So did you guys just, when did you discuss this? I'm fine. Can we have roll call?
Fletcher,
Yes.
Whittlesey,
Yes.
Musateri,
Abstain.
Gump,
Yes.
Brock.
Yes. Now can I have a motion to go into executive session?
Yes. So moved.
And I'll second it.
Second.
We're not gonna have anything, roll call.
Wilson,
Yes.
Brock,
Yes.
Fletcher,
Yes.
Gump,
Yes.
Pusateri.
Yes.
Alright. We won't be having anything out of executive session to bring back in. Thank you for coming. I thought when you take something out, is that still on? Is that still on?